What up? What up? We are back. Fantasy news today. If it's your first time here, make sure you hop over to YouTube and subscribe on my channel, Fantasy Football Hustlers channel, and then make sure you subscribe to my man Bogard Scott Free's channel, the GMM Network. Shout out to everyone who is on Facebook to start the stream. What up, Bogart?
Hey, man. How you doing, my brother?
Doing good. Ready for this? Well, I guess I'm not ready for this Thursday game as of yet, but I'm always ready for some football.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I woke up this morning. I didn't know if I was even ready for life after last night. I had a nice little party after the show, and man, great show, by the way, man. I'm thoroughly enjoying this What If series that we're doing, man.
Oh, yeah. So if you guys don't know what he's talking about, every Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, we do the Real Fantasy Playmakers, and we're doing a What If series throughout the fantasy season. It's been amazing so far. That was episode 2 of the What If series, but go backwards and go check out the episodes because super dope, especially the one that was on last night. How many people we have on last night? It was about 4 extra guests.
Yeah, we had like a panel of I think we had like six of us total at one point. Man, good. But some oldies, but some goodies. You know what I mean? It was kind of like a little makeshift reunion, man. Shout out to J Love and Peacock, and shout out to my man Dennis and Sven, man. You know what I mean, for coming through. Yeah. All great guys in the industry. Everybody, be sure to check all of them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the whole
love
crew.
It.
The whole crew. And then I'm going to throw in the YouTube link. So if anyone is watching on Facebook and you want to come support on YouTube, the link is in the description. Appreciate you guys. And first thing of news that we got, Dalvin Cook not practicing for the second straight day. Oh, hold on. Before we get into that, Primetime Steven, what up, bro? We got the question and answer session coming in a couple hours, so make sure you hop on that. Shout out to the Patreon crew, and shout out to Flavish coming all the way from Norway. International stream.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Norway, give me money.
Yeah. JC Money Design, what up, bro?
What up, JC?
And Scotty Boy, what up, what up?
Yeah, what up, Scotty Too Hotty?
So I gave some of my thoughts in my running back start and sit video today. Make sure you go check that out. So I'll let you take the meat off this bone, Bogart, and talk a little bit about Dalvin Cook.
He might be a guy that we don't need to worry about until that day of. Like, just be prepared. But if he plays, you're obviously gonna play him because I feel like this is partially maintenance. He did come back in the game multiple times after leaving multiple times. And Wednesday didn't really scare me. Today, I would be worried a little bit, but for all we know, he's getting his dreads done. And Alexander Madison sucks. So I probably wouldn't even necessarily go that route. And if you don't have Alexander Madison being the Cook guy, maybe a Cordero Patterson's out there or something, or even, who else is out there? A good streaming. Well, no, there's no real streaming options at running back, right?
It's kind of tough. Cordell Patterson. Yeah. And you had to already have gotten him. He's probably gone in a bunch of places.
Yeah. But
Taco.
Hey,
yo, what
up, Taco?
Chill,
dude. I'd say though, I have been seeing a lot of Dalvin Cook trades being made, and that's already insane to me because Dalvin Cook should never be a person that you're trading away. Trading for, awesome, because this is probably the time to do it, and that's how I would approach this right now.
So wait, how y'all feeling about Zeke? Because I remember week 1, I was like, sound the alarm, and now week 2, I think, is it like that dog meme where like it's all like burning around him and he's like, it's fine? Like, is that how Zeke owners feel right now?
I think that all Zeke owners are probably like panicking like hell, especially if they don't have Pollard. If you have Pollard, you're sitting good in the hood. But I feel like as a Zeke manager myself, I feel like I'm not going to go crazy and panic after the first 2 weeks, because let's remember that every single defense already knows that Zeke's the man. They're going to scheme against him. They're not expecting Pollard, to get a bunch of work out of the backfield. So the pressure just isn't there when Pollard was coming in the game. So if you're a Zeke manager, don't stress.
But yeah, then here's my question to you: does the more plays and more opportunities for Pollard lower your overall expectations of Zeke and what you're expecting for the rest of the season? Is he still, in your eyes, that top 5 running back, or has he taken a tier step back, considering that it looks like Tony Pollard is going to be here to stay and he's going to be getting almost 60-40 on touches?
I'm not worried about Zeke. I still think he has top 5 potential, especially when you look at the landscape of the league. Like, say Dalvin Cook does miss some time, say Saquon doesn't really get on track for the next couple of weeks. Like, they're already getting behind the ball as far as their yardage total. Mm-hmm. And as long as Zeke is steady Eddie, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's more than likely going to finish in the top 5. I mean, it is an offense that can move the ball. He finally put a TD on the board, right? I mean, and Tony Pollard, to me, I think for Zeke owners, we should love that he actually exists, for the fact that we want a 17-week stretch of a healthy Zeke. You know what I mean? Like, I would much rather have a 17-week healthy Zeke than him get,
who would you rather have for the rest of the season? Henderson from the Rams or Zeke from the Cowboys?
Zeke.
I'd rather have Zeke. I mean, Henderson's already hurt.
Because you're the Henderson truther, bro.
No,
I mean, I'm going to pick Henderson over Zeke.
His workload percentage right now is ridiculous. He is probably one of the biggest workload of them all. And when you factor in that he catches passes as well, I mean, currently sitting in PPR type settings, he's a top 15, top 12 back already.
Well, but
Zeke currently.
Well, consider this. Even when Cam Akers was healthy, I mean, I think 76% of the snaps was like his peak, and like he averaged like 72% in those games that he was starting. So Sony Michel, as he gets more and more acclimated, you know what I mean? We're gonna see that 90%
snap. A big test.
What's up?
I was gonna say this week's a big test because of the rib injury.
Oh yeah, and like, I mean, maybe they give him a flak jacket. It does suck because we 100% have to assume that if he plays, it's going to be closer to like a 60-40 timeshare. You know what I'm saying? And it'll still be in Henderson's favor, I believe. But also, if you're going to bang him around in the red zone, you know what I'm saying? We're in week 3 now. Sony Michel's probably more acclimated to the protections and whatnot. He might get in some of these goal line opportunities now. And like I said, you don't want to bang around your guy who already has a rib injury. You know what I mean? So
it might be easy with him for the next couple of weeks at the very least.
And that's another perfect example of like a 17-week stretch. We shouldn't be surprised with more timeshares, whether or not. I mean, if you don't have Cook or Henry or Mixon, help me out here, CMC. I mean, there's not really any other guy. You can't even put Zeke in that mix. Like, so if you don't have those 4 guys, Alvin Kamara. So there goes theoretically.
Even Kamara last week. Even Kamara with the volume last week still was like non-existent. And you figured with them being behind, he would get more pass catches. But the Jameis Winston trend of not really targeting the running back seems to be prevailing, because I don't see Kamara hitting those 8, 9, even 7 catch games that he's used to.
Okay, do you think people would hit the panic button at all with Kamara right now?
No,
I was panicking.
Come on, man.
Before the draft.
You throw that whole game out the window. Like, game script and everything totally gets thrown out the window.
He's a pass-catching running back. Game script actually favored him with them being down.
But you
he
just
should have gotten passes.
But you just said it, though. It's not Drew Brees anymore. Who is the guy that would check it down?
See, to me, like, I knew Kamara had to be a top guy, but I was iffy on him. That's why, like I said, I like the back half of the draft this year, because you were put in situations when you're getting like a fucking Kelsey or a Hill or like one of these certified guys at another position, because the running backs, bro, they're all sketch.
Well, let me and this is the last thing before we move on, at least with Kamara. Whatever their game plan was, I'm sure it wasn't to give Kamara 12 touches, and that was it.
Right.
He had the most rushes, he had 8, and he had the most receptions. He had 4. So he literally did the most on a team that literally just got the shit beat out of them. Yeah. There's no game plan for that. Everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face, like my man Mike Tyson says, and they got punched in the face over and over.
By Sam Darnold. That's the Terminator.
All right, let's get back into some more news here. So for the Colts, Carson Wentz, it's looking more and more likely that he's not going to play. Tomorrow's practice will tell us pretty much everything that we need to know. Brett Hundley took a majority of the snaps with the starters. So even though Jacob Eason is like the guy who we've been hearing about, Brett Hundley, at least at practice, was taking the starter reps, and the coach said that both of them will be in the game if Carson Wentz doesn't play. Taco, what's your thoughts on that in the Colts shit show?
I mean, honestly, I'm just fading all Colts, and low key, I'm hoping that the defense can survive because, man, this was a great defense that a lot of people were coming in expecting some things from, and you might be dropping them early just because this offense is not going to give them anything to work with. It's just a lot of bad situations and no room for error. At the end of the day, I think Jonathan Taylor still becomes, that must-start guy. Naheem Hines, I think, is going to be a certified guy. Pittman, his value is in flux. I mean, we don't really know what's going to go on with any of these quarterbacks and if they can actually make the proper reads to, be successful. But when you see guys like Heineke, you kind of get a little bit of I don't know, hope, a glimmer of hope.
I hope it's Brett Hundley. I definitely hope it's Brett Hundley for fantasy sake because at least we've seen him with Green Bay and make those fantasy pieces still viable during that stretch with Aaron Rodgers down back in 2017. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Anyway, it wasn't I think that was probably the biggest season that Devontae Adams had prior to that. You know what I mean? That was his first double-digit touchdown joint. So maybe Pittman is okay, but outside of Taylor, I'm not comfortable starting anyone. And I don't have any Taylor because I just went in the year not liking the situation as much as and maybe it was an ADP thing, but I think DFS, I'd look at all these guys just because that's probably where I'd look at them only.
And Bogey, we've talked about the defense before. Why don't you tell everybody why the Colts defense has taken a step back, at least in the first 2 weeks?
Well, I mean, it's definitely their secondary corner, Xavier Rhodes, not being around. So that's just a glaring hole that offensive coordinators are going to see. That's where we attack. You know what I mean? I mean, this past couple weeks, that's what's been happening. And there are big names that are tearing them up. Tyler Lockett, Cooper Kupp, you know what I'm saying? Now, Julio Jones is the second option, you know what I mean? Or even A.J. Brown. If you make the mistake of putting your secondary coverage on either of these guys, it's pick your poison, man. So really big game for the Titans. You know what I mean? They're going above 500 this week.
Yep. I mean, shit, man. Derrick Henry might come out and catch another 8 balls this week,
Yeah, he already has. What does he have? He has 10 targets on the season so far, and he had 31 in the entire season last year.
He's gonna get more catches than Kamara this year.
Yeah, right. That would be wild. What if this isn't the what if show, but what if Derrick Henry flirts with 40 receptions, not targets, 40 receptions on the season? That'd be wild.
I mean, look at Dalvin Cook. If Dalvin Cook misses one game and messes up his game pace, Derrick Henry is coming for that number 1 spot. He is the king.
Bro, he's even taking CMC's job. He said, nah, I catch 2.
I mean, that was awesome, though. That, because there was some, a whole ass series in week 1 where there just was no Derrick Henry and it was Jeremy McNichols, right?
Yep.
And then, they stopped fooling around with that real fast.
Yep.
And yes, I think the targets were due to game script.
They also were getting their asses beat in that game too.
The game script. So
but you know what though? You know what's great to me?
Getting beat up by Seattle too.
They said, "Fuck it, you're one of our best players. Get the shit on the field. I'm gonna throw you the ball and you're gonna do work." Because he had a catch that went for 40 or 60 yards for a touchdown on a reception. He was just like, "Nah, fam, I got this. You just gotta get me the ball." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like Billy. If you guys remember Varsity Blues, shout out to the 90s culture.
Yeah.
He's like Billy Bob when he's catching passes out there. You just get so nervous when the ball gets thrown because it's like less than a 50% chance that he catches it. But we'll see. Maybe he worked on that in the offseason. Who knows? All right, let's switch over to the Cowboys real quick since we were talking about Pollard. And this might go into Taco's Pollard, truther status here. Amari Cooper limited in practice with those bruised ribs. If Amari is not 100% go, it definitely opens up the room for a guy like Pollard to get in more again.
Oh, yeah. I mean, already Pollard is outproducing Zeke. So, I mean, if we're looking at it, Pollard is becoming almost the favorite back. Now, it's still early. You got to see how everything shakes out. But so far, he looks like the better player.
So it was a 50-50 split in touches this past week, but it was a 70-30 snap share.
Yeah. They were on the field a number of times at the same time. So we'll probably see that again with there's no Cooper. You know what I mean? Now they could and this for reality purposes, this is great for the Cowboys because now you could have Zeke in the backfield and then move Pollard around and just he's a mismatch. You know what I mean? So it's and like I mean it's a division matchup. I kind of expect a lower scoring game. These two teams always they either like run up the score or it's a really bad game. And like the way
I know you watched the Eagles really close. Sorry to cut you off last week. So when it gets the Niners, Eagles defense is stepping it up now compared to last year, right?
That's what I'm saying. And like their glaring hole is at their secondary on the opposite of Slay because Slay has actually been showing up for 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see if the Cowboys can really just keep up this offense because Dak so far has been, keeping it up. The running game's been good, but with no Cooper, no Gallup, now can you start crowding the box a little bit more? Because you don't have to worry about, having to really cover anyone other than Lamb on the outside.
But I mean, but then also, Cedric Willis, hey, Mr. Wilson, no, Cedric Willis. Yeah, that's right. That is his name.
Wilson, you're right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Cedric, hey, Mr. Wilson, he is a guy that like, he's a field stretcher. You know what I mean? So that's the guy that's probably going to go unaccounted for on a big splash play down the field. If you ask me, you know what I mean? Because they're definitely going to be keeping an eye on a guy like Pollard. They're going to be keeping, they're going to keep Darius Slay on CeeDee Lamb if there's no Cooper. And I would put money Cooper plays. This is just Cooper doing Cooper things. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can't fix those bruised ribs, so I mean, it's just it.
But he's also not a running back, and he could just exist to play decoy. You know what I mean?
And he was limited in practice. It's not like he didn't play. Didn't practice. He was limited in practice, so he was out there.
If I'm a Zeke owner, I want Cooper to play. I want those open lanes.
Yeah. Definitely. All right, how about we switch it up to the Giants now? All right, so Saquon Barkley, Kenny Golladay, they used in quotes extremely limited in practice today, and they made sure to talk about Kenny Galladay's hip issue, and the coach wanted to make sure to tell everybody it's not tied to last year's hip issue. Taco, resident Giants guy. Let's hear it.
Well, honestly, it's going to be like 10 days for they played Thursday last week and they'll play on Sunday this coming week. So with them having 10 days off and everyone playing, it just seems like this is more of injury report manipulation in order to get your guys some extra rest and make sure that your superstars are ready to go. I think Kenny Golladay and Saquon Barkley will probably be available and active this Sunday, and I think at this point,
are you extremely sure?
I'm pretty sure. I haven't heard anything to make me perk up my ears and be like, "Whoa!" But then again, nowadays the Giants are running like the old school Patriots. They're very secretive. Everything is behind closed doors. You don't even know what's going on. So,
didn't Joe Judge come from? Isn't he from the Belichick-esque or Elk?
Yeah, he was a special teams coordinator or coach for Belichick, and he also had a tenure under Nick Saban. So, like, this dude's been under two of the biggest badasses in football. So, you have to believe that he knows to play close to the vest.
And we're not gonna ask you, Taco, about how Barkley is gonna do. We're gonna get an unbiased opinion from Bogard. Going up against the Falcons, what can we expect from Barkley? You think he's gonna be limited? How do you think he's gonna do for the Barkley managers out there?
I think when they say extremely limited, it's this was the mini bye week, and all things considered, they don't, when is their bye week? Their actual bye week, right? Because I'm bringing this up to say this was an opportunity for them to get both their guys coming off an injury to get as much rest as possible. And if we say extreme week 10, so it's a long stretch. So they love that they have this little mini bye week right here. And I think Kenny Galladay is the one I would worry more about a workload or even a target market share, because it's Danny Dimes throwing him the ball, and he seems to just be favoring, like Kenny G exists right now to take away whoever's number one coverage. You know what I mean? And until defensive coordinators, they go, oh, you know what? He's not even he has a bad hip, bro. And but they said it wasn't the hip from last year. Well, but you know what? Maybe it's the other hip. That's not good. Right? So you mean tell me you might have two bad hips.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Let's rapid fire these last couple things. And then Lil Uzi Vert, we got the live stream coming up in like an hour and a half, taking on the question. So make sure you are back here for that one.
Yeah, and I think Saquon is gonna have a big game. It's the Dirty Birds. They suck.
I think so too.
Listen, if we can't beat the Dirty Birds, there's a fucking problem.
Oh yeah.
All right, boys. I gotta head out real quick.
Sounds good, Taco.
All right, my guy, Taco.
Later, brother.
Peace
out.
Have a good one, bro.
All right, so Antonio Gibson is fine according to Ron Rivera. Full go at practice.
Boom. Don't you love how 24 hours ago you could have maybe traded for him? Now you can't.
Yep. I mean, that's the way that things go. And who do they play this week?
They play the Bills.
The Bills. I mean, that's going to be a tough game either way. We'll see what Gibson does.
I like JD. I think JD's in play again this week. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Now, switching over to Baltimore, Lamar Jackson not seen at practice during the open media.
He might have been taking a big dump.
It could be, right?
When you gotta go, man.
He didn't get hurt in the game on Sunday, did he?
Nah. I mean, but he is a running quarterback. So but my bad. I cut you off. So they said that he just wasn't there, or what was
not
the
seen.
exact?
Not seen. That was it. That was the specific terminology.
He's very elusive. I mean, sometimes on the field, I'm like, oh, where'd he go? Oh, he's over there now. So maybe they just didn't see him, but this is no cause for concern.
Yeah. T. Higgins, not suited up for practice today. So amongst the Bengals wide receivers, the pecking order that I have him in, at least as of the first 2 weeks, I think Boyd is number 1, Chase is number 2, and Higgins is number 3. That's not the depth chart. I think that's just like safety nets.
It's just the target market share that you've been seeing, right?
Yeah, and Higgins, he's been in the middle, like each game. Like first game, Boyd did bad, and Higgins was like the number 2, and Chase was number 1. Then this past game, it was like flipped around where Chase was number 3, Boyd was number 1, Higgins was number 2. Higgins has been getting hurt though, like every single week he's been getting hurt. Yeah. And he's day to day, and then now not suited up for practice on a Thursday.
I would be prepared to find someone else in this case. Like if you know what I mean, if you're a Higgins rosterer, just have another game plan. It also is a bad matchup, quote unquote. You know what I mean? They're playing the Steelers, and the Steelers, this is a nice bounce back spot for them. And being a Chase guy, I like this for Chase, man, because I think like what's been happening with Higgins. I know they played the Vikings and the Bears, and it's like, okay, well, who do they have a notable number 1 corner? I couldn't tell you, but I guarantee their number 1 corner was on Higgins in these games.
For sure. I mean? Yeah. Higgins, to officially start the season, he was number 1 on the depth chart. They switched it around. Like Tyler Boyd was like number 1 throughout the preseason and stuff, and then they switched it like right before the game. And I feel like in a game like this, if TJ Watt is out, maybe that changes some things. But with the pass rush that the Steelers bring, I feel like a guy like Tyler Boyd, who's a little bit more in the short and intermediate game, over the middle, I think he's going to be a little bit more in play than the other two.
The hot read.
Yep.
Gotta love the hot read.
Oh, yeah. You already know. And then last piece of news before we get out of here, Josh Jacobs. So he is practicing with one of the red non-contact jerseys, though. We know the Raiders are getting a rep for, not wearing pads and all that kind of stuff, but everyone else was wearing pads, but Jacobs, he was wearing that "Don't Touch Me" shirt.
Yeah, they got the Dolphins. I mean, I think they don't play Jacobs this week. Like, getting them in there right now could be just for your opposing team to be like, oh shit, we got a game plan for Jacobs now. You know what I mean? Right? No, non-contact. Like, you go from everything's hurt last week, now you're not. Then you're a DMP, and then now you're wearing a non-contact. And then what's that? Just to get a walkthrough in? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if he plays extremely limited touches, you know what I mean? It's also a great defense with the Dolphins. And then you add the fact that I hate Josh Jacobs. This just makes me right.
Yeah, I'm not touching. I mean, even if Jacobs plays, I don't want to play him. I mean, if there's anybody that I would play, it might be Drake. And just because he's the one who gets the catches. Last week, I think he had 4 receptions. Dolphins are going to be bringing it. They're already going to be down their main quarterback. You already know this is going to be like a ground and pound game. And it's going to be a really defense. Both
really
sides.
Slow, methodical defense. And I do want to add, I do like Drake because it's a revenge narrative. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And you already know, like Drake, he showed those flashes in Miami, but I believe that was the coaching regime that was treating their nose, before every game when they were game planning and everything. Yeah. So I'd be a little pissed if I was Drake too.
I mean, Adam Gase, what's funny? Remember, it was literally the line coach. Remember that? He was the line coach, and he was coaching some lines for show. And then Adam Gase, I had a theory that Adam Gase was not the coach for the Jets after Miami. He was a coke mule and New York's biggest distro because he had the cartel connection from his ties in Miami. And if you look at Adam Gase, he's on one for life. Like, you know what I mean?
Hey, your version is definitely better.
Yes.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, we are out of here. We're getting out of here right now. Short show for today. We'll be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Pacific. And then we got the Start and Sit live streams coming up in an hour and a half. And get all those questions in before Thursday night football. Then we got another one on Saturday, midday, and then another one on Sunday, pre-gaming it up.
Oh, yeah. And everybody remember, we're going back to Fantasy 101. If you got players tonight, put them in their actual positions. Get them up out of your flex. You know what I mean? And just make sure you're doing things the right way.
Yeah, don't play them in your flex. You need the availability if anything happens, because especially with all this COVID stuff going on, you just never know what's going to happen. Be smart out there. We'll see you guys on the live stream in a few hours.
Peace out.